Hello, my name is Dr. Michael DeAndrea. I'm a professor and a therapist. I live and work in Hawaii. I'm also president of the Social Justice Creations nonprofit organization with our Facebook and our website available for individuals to learn more about these organizations. I'm going to be providing a series of short videos that discuss various issues related to our current social political situation and how social political factors impact the ongoing evolution of human development, or how the present social political factors contribute to what's referred to as the devolution. Evolution refers to an ongoing innate propensity for individuals to increase their understanding in more complex ways in their thinking, in their behaviors, and in their feelings. Devolution is a process in which individuals regress. They move back in their thinking to less complex, more simple, usually less compassionate, and ways of feeling and behaving in our society. At this time in our society, we would be hard-pressed to find a time that is as divisive as we currently see unfolding in our nation. And I want to point out some ideas that really reflect just thinking that I have, as well as bringing out my professional training and experiences as not only a professor and a therapist, but someone who's committed to the multicultural social justice, counseling, and advocacy movement in our nation. I want to begin this short video with some ways of thinking about how our nation has evolved towards greater complexity, greater compassion, greater levels of justice. We've moved from a nation who at one time did not permit women to vote, from a nation that did not allow equality for African Americans in our society, from a nation that had almost been successful in a mass genocide of Native American persons in our society. We have moved beyond these forms of injustice, and increasingly in the year 2018 find ourselves with greater compassion for marginalized persons who are devalued in our society. We have made advances in accepting and respecting persons who are gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgendered by implementing legislative action in which same-sex persons can be married, in demonstrating their genuine love and commitment to one another. We have successfully worked to stop wars in Vietnam and in other military actions that supported dictatorships in our society. We've moved towards increasing our understanding and actions to promote a cleaner, safer environment, one that's not polluting the air, the earth, and the water in which we require to sustain ourselves for long periods of time. We have moved into looking at equality between men and women in the workplace. We have moved towards striving to eliminate various forms of harassment at the workplace. We see the youth in our nation developing and implementing mass marches and protests about gun control issues, so that we will not have any more mass killings in our schools. On the other hand, while all of these things represent positive, more complex forms of evolution, we also find that 30 to 35% of the population seem to be in accord with the President of the United States, whose positions clearly represent not an evolution, but a devolution, a regression in our consciousness, in our thinking, in our feeling, and in our actions. Simply stated, the President of the United States and his supporters seem to feel that it's okay to have a man in the highest level of government who can influence the thinking, the feeling, and the actions of many people in our society. It's okay to have a person who talks about women in derogatory terms, making the statement that women respect and are attracted to men in power, which leads men to be able to do what they want, including pulling on the pussies of women. Here's a man who has articulated an overgeneralization and inaccurate statements about Mexicans as being rapists and drug dealers in a very general way. Here's a man who has gained support, resulting in actions that represent hate crimes in our society and violence towards racial groups by overgeneralizing Muslim Americans and Arab Americans as being all terrorists. Here's a man who is pushing hard for the development and building of a massive wall around Mexico. Individuals who support the concept of the war probably do not know the geography of Mexico and how massive an undertaking and how fruitless building a wall between us and Mexico has been. After all, no wall has been successful in achieving the goal of isolating people and not allowing them entrance into our nation. And that includes the Berlin Wall, where people were able to penetrate the Berlin Wall during its existence. Here's a man who talks about the importance of maintaining strong military and threatening nations who are also occupied by rogue and malicious leaders such as North Korea. Here's a man who talks about the possible use of nuclear weapons. The use of nuclear weapons is a form of devolutionary thinking because we cannot sustain the human species with nuclear war in effect. All of these things point to changes going on in our society. We are undergoing an unprecedented transformation in the makeup of our society, where up until this point in time, the majority of people living in the United States have come from Western European, white, English-speaking, and mainly Christian backgrounds. In a few short years, people are waking up, recognizing that our demography will radically change in unprecedented ways, where most of the people in the United States will be coming from non-Western European, non-English speaking, non-white backgrounds, and increasingly non-Christian backgrounds. What we're witnessing is an increasingly pushing fear and concern and anxiety about this unprecedented change has never occurred before. What we can say about this form of devolution, and I believe this to be true from my own research in the field, is that we are seeing the last gasps from ultra-conservative leaders who put an emphasis on authoritarianism rather than democracy, and who gather support from individuals who lean towards a conservative right-wing ideology in our country, and also experience the anxiety, the anger, the frustration, and the fear that comes with moving to a truly democratic, multicultural, multiracial society. One that is being tested currently as a result of the authoritarian, racist, misogynist, anti-environmental, and pro-profit rather than supporting the people in the White House. I will be continuing to analyze this situation not only as a professional, but communicating the analysis that colleagues and myself have looked at and studied to really acknowledge the sort of devolution that goes on that's harmful to other people, but also individuals who say all of what President Trump and his allies are doing is okay with us. My brothers and sisters, it's not okay with the majority of people in the United States. And with the upcoming midterm election and then the election for president in 2020, we will keep hope alive and continue our efforts for evolution to promote democracy and justice in an increasingly multiracial, multicultural society and move beyond the pathetic, sad, and mean-spirited thinking and actions that many people are following as they are drawn to the last death gasp of conservatism and authoritarianism in our society. I want to encourage people who have strong feelings or just thoughts on this video to get in touch with us by going to our Facebook at Social Justice Creations Facebook. You simply can do an internet search on Social Justice Creations Facebook. Let's keep this discussion going. Let's unveil and unmask how we in this society are moving backwards, not forwards, into a state of psychological devolution and regression. Thank you for taking time to listen to this message, and please, whether you agree or disagree with us, join our community at Social Justice Creations Facebook. Thank you, and have a peaceful and a healthy week.